time for Trendz Live, where we spotlight the people, spaces, and ideas shaping how we express ourselves today. In Nairobi, fashion is being reimagined with designers challenging production and creativity while weaving sustainability into style. Music becomes a language of its own through the saxophone. And for self-taught musician Bongane Sax, that sound tells a story of passion, purpose, and entrepreneurship. Work is also evolving, with co-working spaces like Workshop 17 inspiring collaboration and fresh ways of showing up. And in Benoni, east of Johannesburg, a new boutique B&B brings modern designs and an intimate high-end feel to local hospitality. That's all coming up right now on Trendz Live.
Now that is how you set the tone for Valentine's month. Just sweet sounds from Bongani Sax. And ladies, he's not going anywhere. A little later, he'll be joining me once again on the stage to talk to us about his music journey as a saxophonist, and will be serenading us with another love song. Dumelang sanibonani absheni, and hello, welcome to Trendz Live. My name is Kansani Kaza, but because we're family now, please call me Candy. Your favorite lifestyle show is on, and you already heard what you can expect on the show this evening. So first up, let's take a look at some entertainment news that made headlines this past week.
In global news making headlines this week, the city of Rome recently introduced a €2 visitor's fee to access the viewing area of its iconic Trevi fountain, which had previously been free to visit. The charge is intended to help manage tourism and raise funds for the monument's upkeep. It applies only to visitors who want to walk down the stone steps to get close to the fountain's basin, while the surrounding square offers a view of the imposing monument with everyone who is able to see it. Tourists from around the country and the world visiting the fountain explained that they were not bothered by the new fee, with some saying they expected it to ease overcrowding. Authorities say that more than 10 million people visited the fountain over the past 2 years during the festive season. In addition to the Trevi Fountain, 5 other Roman monuments that had been previously free to visit are now subject to an admission fee. Now on to lights and fireworks. Copenhagen's annual Light Festival opened with works of art and light installations, bringing some relief from the cold, dark nights in Danish capital. The festival recently opened with around 45 artworks, tours and events on the lineup this year. Visitors and passers-by in the Danish capital stopped to admire the installations in the city's different neighborhoods despite the cold weather. The works and installation will remain in place until the 22nd of February, where everyone can enjoy and bask in the presence of this masterpiece. Some have mentioned that the beauty of these installations create depth that they truly appreciate. We wrap it up with some bubbles and good vibes all around with London's iconic red bus double-decker buses. Around 4 years ago, 54-year-old Reed spotted a discounted bottle of bubbles at a supermarket and bought it on a whim. One day, stuck in traffic, he blew bubbles out of the bus window. A nearby taxi driver noticed and pulled up to tell Reed that he had been having a bad day and that the bubbles certainly made him feel better. From that moment onward, Reed kept going, swapping the bottle for a bubble gun to make it easier on the move. On a route earlier this week, passengers thanked him for the bubbles, and those who stepped on without a smile quickly found themselves grinning. Some regulars have even named him Mr. Bubble Man. Reed emphasizes that there is a lot of negativity in the world, with people constantly bombarded by bad news, which can definitely take a toll on their mood. His mission is to spread love and positivity. Well, that's all we have time for on our news wrap.
Now, onto some travel news. The Eatrad has had a stylish upgrade, offering a boutique lodge experience for those who want a touch of luxury without stretching the budget. Designed for a diverse crowd, it's a space to relax, host, connect, and enjoy local flavor. Trendz producer Puleng Mulibati went inside, and now it's our turn to take a look.
The East End has gotten an upgrade with a high-end boutique lodge that caters for travelers who want a bit of luxury without breaking the bank.
Staying here in Benoni, I realized that there was not a property that is in between, a leisure property that is in between. It's either you find a bigger established properties, or it's just not accommodative for people to sleep and have entertainment. It's either it's an entertainment but without accommodation, Yeah. So I think I saw an opportunity.
Competitiveness is key. So what we really like to look at, we look at the area, all the establishments around OR Tambo Airport, and what is the price range and what are they offering. So our intent was to build something that is better but still be affordable, because at the end of the day, people will go for where they get the best value. So you might have a 5-star establishment, but if the price around your region doesn't accommodate that price range, you will have a good establishment that doesn't have customers. So we had to do a bit of adjustment to ensure that we are accommodated around the Ekurhuleni area in terms of the price range.
We saw that, we are closer to the airport, a lot of factories around Ekurhuleni, so the people that are coming here, yes, there's a little bit of leisure, but it's more on your economic, just want to sleep and go. But with this one, and we started getting demands to say, you've got a pool, can we come and host a party, an event? So we thought, okay, so I think there's a need for something that also can accommodate events. And when you come for leisure, you want something a bit luxurious.
The space accommodates a diverse crowd, day visitors who just want a good time by hosting events and making use of the facilities.
We looked into what people love. People love something, when you move out of your house, you want something different, a bit of everything. So you can see we still kept the our own African. That's why even with the names, we call them giraffe, elephant. There's a bit of natural colors, but we also, included a lot of modern, because people also want that fine dining. That's why you see that now we've also have a class wine cellar. Because people now, they are all about content. When you go out, you want something that can bring you to that establishment. Yeah, so that was, I think our guests inspired us to build something like this.
Local brands came to showcase their businesses, as this will allow them the opportunity to tap in the market that's set to stay here.
I believe that we are a lifestyle brand. So if you are coming here and then you are just chilling and then you see that we've got also a gin, the Gin Co Africa, you might end up buying it, taking it home. So they're all kind of gelling together. They blend so nicely together, because if you are chilling and you're having a nice time, you might want to have a drink. And perfume, people who are traveling, people who go out, they love smelling good. We take care of our health, because we understand that traveling, you need to be fit sometimes. There's also a walking trail by the lake down. So we always say, we all like to promote healthy lifestyle. You can even, we've seen that people also travel for sport. That's why we find those marathons in Cape Town, Durban, well attended. So even here in Gauteng, we now are seeing a lot of small, short marathons. So with our products, all of them, we just seen that they kind of relate to each other. We call them lifestyle brands.
I'm here to have a wonderful time. I'm here to experience the greatness of Black, empowerment and Black success. So yeah, that's what I'm here to do.
Okay, what did you like about creating content? Like, as we're taking content, what was nice for you?
The aesthetics. Now, one of the most important thing about creating content is to allow the person who's not here to be here through the content. It's like taking the person who's not here through and giving them the same experience that I'm having here. Seeing the same things that I'm seeing, but on a virtual level.
So I guess the highlight of this event was the neck massage, not the launch. What stood out for you?
The drinks, the open bar.
Honey, who am I to say?
The food was delicious. The finger foods were delicious. The company, meeting the people, the massage, the view, the weather agreed.
A day marked by celebrations, welcoming many beautiful stays looming on the horizon.
Never a dull moment here, and there's still so much more in store. We're just getting started, but we need to take a quick break, so stay tuned to SABC News. We'll be right back. And we are back. Don't forget to engage with us on X. We are at Trendz on SABC, and we would love to hear from you. Such as stories you would like to hear, similar to this one, a home away from home. Co-working spaces have become more than just places to log in and log on. They're carefully designed environments that reflect how we live, work, and connect in today's fast-paced cosmopolitan world. Trendz producer Puleng Mulubati headed to Rosebank to explore how these modern workspaces are redefining productivity and turning the office into a lifestyle experience. Let's see.
Co-working spaces are no longer just offices. They're a lifestyle hub, places where creativity, collaboration, and communities meet. These spaces blend work with inspiration, offering more than just a desk and Wi-Fi.
The moment you walk in here, there's a sense of this feel of human. It's a feel of belonging. And I've been to, and I don't want to even say WeWork or Africa Works or any of those spaces, but there's that sense of actually our teams go that extra mile. It's not even about service, it's about them knowing the barista you get there, the barista knows what coffee you want. The location manager knows, oh, you need a meeting room booked for such a time. Everything's done. It's so seamless. It feels like home away from home.
The space creates an environment that feels both productive and welcoming, one that reflects the energy of the people who use it.
the multi-use of space is really exciting. I mean, you've got the Hyde Hotel, and then obviously Proud Mary downstairs, and then the integration of this workspace solution. Within this space, they've taken those elements and they've made it work really well. They've integrated three big seminar rooms. So they've actually, the need for seminar rooms, these big event spaces, they've built that. They've accommodated open living workspaces, the co-working spaces, which are obviously predominantly downstairs areas into the courtyard. So there is definitely a multifunctional use of space and different types of meeting rooms, event spaces being the seminar rooms, and obviously private offices. So they do cater for a very different demographic. You will find that it is quite a what would we call this? Demi likes to, our location manager likes to call it champagne and caviar. But you will see that there's definitely a very trendy, elevated, trendy, creative, beautiful set of target audience or demographic that walks through our door.
I think the nice thing about a co-working space like Workshop 17 is that everyone can. It's a lot less formal than corporate. So like you don't see a lot of people rocking up in suits. Everyone pretty much just dresses how they're comfortable, and I definitely think that's something that's happened post-COVID, is that people have realized that like. How you show up in terms of how you dress is only part of a reflection of what you can do, and you can we all learned at home that if you're in your pajamas you can do just as good a job as if you're wearing a suit in the office. Like, it doesn't change your output, it's the impression that you create.
From the energy of the environment to the details that influence how people feel and look.
I personally prefer to have fewer decisions that I need to make in my day. So if I'm just in a suit every day, then I don't have to make too many decisions. But a lot of the team does dress very much to express themselves and are creative brains. So you find that the production teams, the video editors, the graphic designers, they all come from creative fields. So they wear very creative outfits, and marketing people in general tend to be quite creative, and it's very colorful and vibey and that sort of thing.
For me, it's very much when I come into this office, like, what do I feel like for the day? When I show up, I generally like to be near a window, and a space like the one we're in has so many options for seating. It's so nice. You can kind of change it up every day. You can say, today I feel like sitting in beautiful curated art. Sometimes maybe I'll sit in the cafe where I just kind of get the energy of other people. So that's what's fantastic. You can show up and match your mood to where you sit.
Co-working spaces are redefining the modern office, proving that where we work can be just as important as how we work.
Johannesburg is truly a city layered with creativity and flavors that shift from one corner to the next. Recently, Trendz Live discovered the city of gold through a new kind of guide, an AI app, the Joe app, which uses curated experiences that feel personal, local, and proudly South African, which exposes the user to a greater experience of what there is to explore in Joburg. Trendz producer Bulelani Lugokwana let Joe lead him into Josie's colorful streets, from hidden hubs to where township culture comes alive. So let's join him.
Johannesburg is evolving, and a new digital guide is changing the way we experience the city. Gone are the days where most of us relied on travel guide booklets to find the coolest spots. Now artificial intelligence is taking over, providing us with information at a click of a button. Joe app, an app curated by the Josie My Josie team, gives you just that.
Joe is the City Slick app. You ask Joe for things to do. You ask Joe for, the latest things to do that he can find in the city. And he essentially just helps you find the coolest things and the, quirkiest places, the cool bars. He's just a cool app that you can have a chat with and that can just guide you through the city. ChatGPT does provide, this bot technology that you can play around with in terms of making sure that it is serving your purpose, whether as an organization. But we just thought, maybe it's time for the city to keep up with technology. Time for this. I mean, AI is in the town. So, what better way than to make it fun and, personalize it for the city. And we're just giving AI the Jozi personality, the Jozi spirit.
Once we had a feel for what the Joe app does, we explored the city of Johannesburg. I'm feeling hungry. Where can I grab something to eat in Marshalltown?
If you're looking to grab a bite in Marshalltown, Johannesburg, you could check out places like Sadie's Bistro. Just keep in mind that hours might vary, so it's always good to double check before heading over. Enjoy!
The best way is to play with Joe. So you just pull your phone up, you go to Johannesburg in your pocket, and you will see a link to Joe where you can scan the code, or you can just click on the link, and then Joe comes up and pops up on your ChatGPT. There's going to be a Joe sort of tab on the left of your screen, and then you just open him up and you just speak to him like you would speak to any friend and say, "Hey Joe, tell me where to eat breakfast in Marshalltown this morning," or your favorite spots where you eat breakfast, and Joe will show you his list of favorites, and there you go. And as you go and as you talk to Joe, as you speak to him and get to know him, he gets to know you better, and he essentially just adjusts to how you guys chat, and you form a relationship with Joe. So Joe's everyone's friend, very friendly, very quirky, very smart, and he learns as you speak to him about you and what you like.
With just a click of the button, Joe took us from the city center and led us to Soweto. Here we visited Lebu's backpackers and explored the streets of the township.
This is also what we call the pride of the people of Soweto. And Lebu showed us that it's possible to start from a dump site and create a campsite. So we're hoping that the mentality here can also trickle around the community, clean up our communities. We say Soweto is a rose that grew from concrete, from nothing to something. It was a shack community, but now it has developed.
After our tour at Lebu's Backpackers, we decided to push more boundaries and asked the app to suggest one more spot in Soweto. And it led us to the Soweto Fine Art Gallery, a vibrant space that showcases and supports local artists, celebrates emerging talent, and even hosts vinyl sessions where creators come together to hang out and share their craft. As we headed back to the Backpackers, we bumped into an international traveler soaking up the township vibes, sharing stories of his own adventures and experiencing Soweto through a fresh and curious lens.
The main reason was people and culture. And Africa, in Europe, it's always creativity, it's music, it's culture, and it's traveling Africa. I think it's the only continent in the world where traveling means still, changing buses, being in small buses with locals, and probably getting lost somewhere and traveling Africa. And it was South Africa for me because it was the great history you have and the different cultures, from English, from Afrikaans.
From the city center to the vibrant streets of Soweto, the Joe app guided us through hidden flavors, creative hubs, and local stories that gives Johannesburg its rhythm. It's more than just an app, it's seen as a passport into the city's soul, connecting us with the people, the culture, and the experience you won't find on any ordinary map.
Hey, they don't call us the best in arts and culture for nothing. Always plugging you. However, we must go pay the bills, and when we return, that special performance that we promised you earlier is making its way to you. Welcome back to SABC News. Listen, ever wondered how cheese is made? Well, at Urban Farm in Kyalami, north of Johannesburg, we step into the world of artisanal cheese farming, guided by deep expertise and hands-on craft. Trendz live producer Bulelani Lugokwana goes behind the scenes to explore the intricate details about the process of making cheese. Let you and I get into the mix.
Tucked away in the heart of Midrand is Nkanyazane Farm, where food is prepared with intention. From the care of the cows to the machinery. Here, cheese becomes more than just a delicacy, it's an experience. We went on an excursion inside an artisanal farm where flavor, nutrition, and tradition come together.
The cheeses that we make that are fairly common in the sense of, Parmesan style and cheddar style. And then there are ones that we make that are a little bit less kind of store popular, if you could call it. So we do one that's called a Belpa canola, which is a dried cream cheese coated in black pepper. You'll get to try it just now. And then we make a Colby, which is an American style cheese. Havarti is another one that we make that's also not kind of unknown in most of the stores. And we tweak things slightly to give our little Amazon farm flair in the cheeses.
Cheesemaker Linda Pfeiffer takes us through the process, unpacking how simple ingredients, time, and careful hands blend to create the cheeses.
Most cheeses will take a minimum of about 3 hours to make. Halloumi being one that is a slower process. Mozzarella is an 8-hour process that we're basically standing around working on the cheeses. Cheddar is also quite a long one, but it basically boils down to putting the milk in our vat, heating it up, adding culture, adding rennet, and then depending on how we cut it and what temperatures we use and what cultures we use depends on what the end result ends up being.
How does the wellness of your Jersey cows directly influence the taste, texture, and nutritional value of cheese?
The quality of the milk that you use to make your cheese influences and impacts the flavor of your cheese. So we're now in our breeding season, our calving season at least, and in this time period we have to buy in milk. So we go to other Jersey farms and we buy milk to make the products, like some of the products, and the flavor of those cheeses are different to what it is with our milk. So we control the feed, how they get fed, how they get looked after, and we control everything within their diet and everything that happens to them from birth to death. The cheeses, depending on the time of year and the season and the feeds they get and how green the grass is, will also change the flavor of the cheeses.
Prudence, how do you ensure that cheese is well preserved?
We've got cheeses that we put in our normal fridge. We've got the vacuum sealer that we vacuum seal them in, and then we put them in the fridge. As long as it stops them from aging and then it stops them from rotting, as long as they are vacuum sealed, it's good to go. Unless if then you've got like your open cheeses, then you can grate and put it in the fridge and freezer and freeze them for some time. That's how I keep my cheese fresh.
You'll be excited to learn that you too can make your own cheese at home.
With regards to making cheese at home, it's fairly simple. I think the biggest thing that people don't realize is hygiene, hygiene, hygiene. You have got to work hygienically. You've got to sterilize your equipment. You want to make sure that you're using good quality stainless steel pots for it. Yes, you can make yogurt, you can make halloumi. The hard cheeses become a little bit more difficult because you need more equipment, you need pressing equipment. But a simple recipe is if you take amasi and you drain it, you've basically made cream cheese. And that is a super simple, super easy way to make a cheese at home. And then you drain it to the consistency that you want. And then you can add flavoring to it. So you can add like your salt, pepper, spices, chives, whatever you're wanting. You then have a really lovely cream cheese that you've made at home. The aging process is after it's been pressed, it goes into a salt water brine with the right pH, the right amount of salt, and then depending on the weight of the cheese, that's how long it stays in the brine, and that is what gets the salt into the cheeses. And then basically what we do is we dry them off after they've been in the brine, and we pop them in the cave on these little mats, and then they get turned kind of daily, these little mats, and they get turned daily.
Beyond flavor, this cheese is prepared to nourish our bodies. Through traditional methods and careful fermentation, the natural nutrition is retained, and even more, it has gut-friendly benefits. Happy cheese making, friends.
He plays the clarinet and piano sound. Bongani Sax, a South African saxophonist, says this allows him to approach music with depth, versatility, and a strong technical foundation. His journey began with curiosity as well as a passion, and today it has grown into a career defined by soulful performances, musical storytelling, and the ability to move audiences of all ages. I mean, you heard him earlier give us a beautiful rendition, and tonight he joins us right here on the Trendz live stage as we find out all about his relationship with music and musical instruments. So ladies and gentlemen, the crowd says, welcome Bongani Sax. How are you? I mean, I'm feeling all the love in the air right now. So we need to talk about this instrument that you have in your hand. What I know is that you've actually self-taught.
Yes.
Walk me through that journey.
So the first, I started with music theory.
Okay.
I did learn music theory and piano.
All right, so you studied those?
Yes.
Okay.
Those were the basic instrument that I did. And then later on, where I was working at where was this place? I forgot. Johnny Mekwa School, the late Johnny Mekwa. Then I came across the saxophone, and one lady was like, what, if you play that instrument, I bet you'll sound great on it, And just like that, I started playing the saxophone, So I spent 3 years on the Trendz. I think that was one of the biggest stages that trained me about the psychology of music, about people.
Yeah.
So I spent the 3 years playing the saxophone. That was my learning journey, and me being a self-taught saxophonist, basically.
That is amazing. But did you finish your studies as well when you were in school? You didn't.
Yeah.
You said, I found the love for this Kishapka vibe.
Yeah, legends never finish.
Legends never finish. But before somebody said, I think you'd be great at it, was it ever a passion that you had, like growing up, wanting to do it?
No, I've never thought of saxophone as the primary instrument that I'll be playing.
Yeah.
I always was interested in the piano, because growing up we've always had an organ in so I think that influence of an organ played a major role. But the saxophone,
was not there. But it's called right time, right place, and just kind of finding your groove in all of this. But how difficult is it actually learning how to play the saxophone, especially if there's young kids watching you out there and they're like, that's an instrument that I'm interested in?
You know what? I think it goes with everything, man. There's nothing difficult, but more than anything, it needs your time, commitment, So I was lucky at the time that I didn't have many commitments, and I had nothing, So the only thing I had to do was for me to learn this instrument. So commitment, I think, and knowledge also. Ask a lot of people, Luckily now YouTube is available, so you can go to YouTube and learn all these things. But time is one of the most important things. 10,000 hours. Basically.
10,000 hours. They do say consistency is very, very key. But I mean, I know that this, instrument itself has got so much rich history. It's been used in so many difficult musical genres. The fact that it was even invented in 1840 by Mr. Sax, what are the emotions that you feel like it evokes for you, maybe as a performer, for even the audience that you play for?
You know what? One of my slogans says, give me the stage and I'll give you my heart.
Oh, I love it!
It's one of the biggest things that I understand, that whenever I take the stage, it's an opportunity for me to render a service to anyone, whether it has to do with their healing, whether I have to make them happy or forget about their problems at that moment in time. And that's just me rendering that kind of a service to them.
Oh, goodness. Giving out yourself to us. We absolutely love it. And I have to ask you, because you do your own music, but you also do renditions of other people's songs. Let's talk about that, like why you do the renditions and the kind of music that you also make, because there's obviously a difference, right?
So how I came into the industry was through Mr. Lance and the late Babu Mjali. When Lance founded me, he's like, hey, I love your story, where you're coming from and all the struggles, I have Nati Mankai. Nati Mankai was the biggest artist in Africa at the time. He's like, I want you to do this album. So that's how I started the renditions, because my first album is actually Nati Mankai's album. I did the rendition of that album. The second one was Vusunova, 047, a mix of other songs.
But to win, okay.
So that's how I started, to do renditions, And then I do have my own music also. Some of it is out, and then I do have collaborations, some of the big collaborations that I did with other artists.
Hey, this journey has been a wonderful one. You spoke very well right now about like challenges that you face. Are there any things that you want to share maybe with our viewers out there, and maybe the ways you've overcome those?
my story is a bit lengthy, so I'm trying to think what is it, persistence, man, and patience. At that time, probably I didn't understand what it meant for me, but more than anything, I'm very rooted in God, and I believe in God. That's one of the things that has carried me throughout. There's this phrase that says, "It shall pass." So whatever you're going through, whatever's happening in your life, whether it's good, whether it's bad, it shall pass.
It shall
and
pass.
once you have that understanding that it shall pass, then you will be consistent and you'll be hopeful towards the goal and the vision that you have.
And the vision that you have. And when our Sebets are working towards that
Listen.
vision, that's why you're joining us tonight.
I'm the
but
guy.
seeing as we are in the month of love, I mean, it is Valentine's very soon.
Yes.
Tell us more about just events that you're going to be playing at and what we can be expecting from you, because we know that you go to a lot of weddings, one of your biggest highlights, but just what can we be expecting from you in this specific month?
So for the 14th of February, I'll be in Bloemfontein.
Okay.
So yeah, Bloemfontein winning at this time. They paid first.
They paid first.
Yes. I'll be at Omni Boutique Hotel. I'll be serenading couples there.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically that's what I'll be doing. And then I think I have private dinners coming back from Bloemfontein from the 15th going throughout the month.
Throughout the
Yes.
month. We are sebenza ke wena. We have to then just speak about the fact that what makes you different to other saxophone artists? What do you think sets you apart from the rest?
What sets me apart, man, is my performance. Whenever I take the stage, I own the stage. People tend to eat from the palm of my hand because that's what I do. I serenade. Lalela ngiyabaphenduphendula.
We are pendula futhi because you're not leaving as yet.
Yes.
Let's talk about the next performance that you're going to be giving to the people. What is it all about?
So the song I initially wrote for Imbeu, a group that we used to have, it's still there, Uviane no Lelo. And the song speaks about basically couples telling one another, what indaba is it, leave your friends, they should be part of our conversations. We shouldn't even be telling them about us.
Okay,
so
let's keep it in between us.
That's that.
All right. Okay, I can't wait to hear it. But as we wrap things up, you just spoke as well right now about Imbeu, which means seed. That was a group that you were part of, and then you decided to go solo.
Yes.
What made you decide it's time for me to go on my own?
You know what? So the thing is this, I founded Imbeu actually.
You did?
Yeah.
Hi, Wanaman, high five. I need to be giving you all your flowers right now.
Thank you. So initially when I was part of the group was initially for me to help them into the industry, so that it's seamless, So I left them because now I felt like, they're better off themselves, And also it makes it easy in terms of the bookings. I don't have to be there. They can do their own thing.
Do that.
And, so we're just expanding the investment.
All right, well, we're going to be expanding more on your career. We're wishing you all the best. We're so glad that you joined us tonight. But like I said, you are not going anywhere. So I appreciate you for being here. But like he said, there's a song that he's going to be performing right now, which is all about just stay out of our business, just to celebrate the month of love. So on that expressive, warm, and smooth instrumental note, we're going to take a quick break, but moving us there is the one and only Bongani. Trendz Live will be back after these. Take it away, Mr. Sax.
Thank you.
you just joined us, where have you been? Not to despair, the show is not over yet, and you can watch the full episode via SABC News YouTube channel. Next up, this year's Nairobi Fashion Week challenged the industry to rethink production, consumption, and creativity through a sustainability-first lens. The theme explored how designers can reduce environmental impact, embrace ethical practices, and build fashion systems that are regenerative rather than extractive. Decarbonize invited designers and audiences alike to imagine a future where fashion respects the planet as much as it celebrates style. Time to strut the runway.
The catwalk at Nairobi Fashion Week shimmered with upcycled silks and reworked denim recently, as Kenyan designers embraced a decarbonized theme urging slower, longer-lasting fashion. Just a few kilometers away, trucks unloaded fresh bales of second-hand clothing at Gikomba, one of East Africa's largest thrift markets. A daily influx that sustains millions of livelihoods even as it fuels a mounting textile waste crisis. Designer John Kaveke closed his show to applause after unveiling a collection made from 80% upcycled materials, much of it sourced through Nairobi's informal resale economy.
I think it worked perfectly for me because 80% of the collection I showcased for today was all upcycled fabric. So I bought a lot of these fabrics that you saw in the collection, all from the second-hand market, local markets, the Gikomba. So I used those ones and created pieces that can still be, they look like fresh. So for me that was, it really worked with the theme and tied with the idea of being able to do this and create something that's amazing with a story behind it.
At Gikomba Market, second-hand jeans dealer Nelson Kamau split open a bale, inspecting seams and stains. The contrast captured this year's Fashion Week, a runway push for durability set against a flood of used garments, many synthetic, and that become waste within days. For some young creatives, that waste is also raw material. At a city dump site, 25-year-old designer Morgan Azedi scavenges discarded garments for his label Kenyan Raw.
I love fashion, and beyond that, I also love my environment where I live. So I always think like, when you come here, for example, when we look around here, we have some good stuff out here. So me as a designer, I do something called sustainability.
Regulators say enforcement is beginning to catch up. Kenya has surely made progress in managing second-hand textiles, though recycling as capacity remains weak and many imports are low quality. It's definitely still Africa at its best. Keep on keeping on, Kenya.
From some razzle to self-defense, fitness, discipline, and building character. Qualities that one often possesses as a kickboxer and martial arts expert. Trendz producer Randy Tsubani got to show us a few moves of her own. So let's see what really went down.
For traditional self-defense techniques and modern combat sports, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, as well as kickboxing is where it's at. Let's get ready to rock.
I specialize in a form of martial arts which is called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this martial arts mainly focuses on like grappling. And when I talk about grappling, I mean having like physical contact with the opponent by grabbing whatever part of the body that you can to get control. How it's different from kickboxing is there's no striking, meaning there's no kicking, there's no punching. It's very effective for certain self-defense scenario.
How is, martial arts beneficial in terms of, self-defense?
One of the main things that we always talk about in in martial arts, and it doesn't only just stop in jiu-jitsu. It's like kickboxing or whatever form of self-defense training you do. Is it teaches you firstly emotional regulation, so that you don't panic the minute something happens. So if someone is attacking me and like their intention is just to take something that belongs to me, I'm not gonna panic and just start fighting for no reason. I'm just gonna remain calm, try to keep the distance, and then if the need does come for me to defend myself in a way that involves me getting physical, I will do so.
How fit do you need to be to do martial arts, either as a sport or just as a lifestyle?
There's a lot of demand for you to actually be fit, you know. The good thing about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that you tend to get fit as you're training, you know, but you do get some benefits from like hitting the gym and like doing some weights, doing a bit of cardio for running and that kind of stuff. So,
what am I wearing, and what does the white belt symbolize?
Okay, so you're wearing a gi, a kimono, with this top part over here, and different parts of the gi are meant to be used for certain things. So this part is called and when I teach jiu-jitsu, I always refer to them as the collar part, and then the rest of the part over here is the lapel. Obviously the sleeves are also very effective for controlling your opponent. In terms of the belt, and then when it comes to adults, we've got white belts, which is obviously the person who's a beginner.
Another form of martial arts is Wing Chun. Irvin Ramashea, a Combat Comms CEO, tells us exactly what it is and where it originated from.
Wing Chun originates from northern Hong Kong. Wing Chun tends to be more vertical. It's like kickboxing, you standing, which there's nothing wrong with that. But then what happens if I get tripped or I fall over a stone? I end up on the ground. Does that mean now I have a weakness? No. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu comes in. I need to be able to fight holistically, vertical and horizontal. We live in a society and a world where, unfortunately, violence exists. People have to protect themselves. You can get a pepper spray, but they become situations where you are now caught without the pepper spray. And last case scenario, I can only depend on myself, these hands and these legs. So if I'm pushed into a corner, who else is going to be there besides me? So it's not necessarily about promoting violence, but rather promoting self-defense, being able to be aware mentally and emotionally.
We now tap into kickboxing, and I was quite curious to know why it's fun and what we can take away from it.
I love kickboxing. It's good for the body. I've never got into any fight. So it teaches you to control yourself, even in whichever situation that you can face or meet. I've went in places, you know, even if like people talk anything to me, it's fine, it's okay. I just let it go up until you start fighting me. So then I'll have to defend myself, of which that's why I'm doing kickboxing.
Now, the beauty of learning how to defend yourself is precisely because of this, man down. Now, this particular technique is called the scissor sweep. And on that note, please stay safe and always be aware of your surroundings.
And just like that, it's time for us to say goodbye. I hate this part, but I really hope that you've enjoyed spending your evening with us and we've started your weekend on a high. Trendz Live will be back again next week, Friday at 8 p.m. sharp, right here on SABC News. We are wishing you a month filled with love. My name is Candy, and until next time, stay sweet. Good night.